What we're going to do today is talk about the difference in lubrication requirements for the CNC HD4 and the HD5. There's different types of bearings in each, and we're going to look at the differences and how often and the ramifications if you don't lubricate the system. So that's our project for today. This is the HD4, and if you look at the HD4, you can see that it has round, large bearings. You can also see that this one has a support that is, you can tell by the dust tracks if you look. There's a support that's added to take off some of the slop that was in the HD4. So it's tighter than it was before. That does not change the lubrication. That does not change the lubrication requirements. It does make it stiffer so you can run it a little bit faster. This one's equipped with a spindle, and it also has the new laser. The laser's been modified, and I think the next generation lasers will have this built in so that it comes up and then does a quick connect at this point. And then this stays in your track so that each time you change to laser you don't have to reroute this. But that's getting away from lubrication requirements. On this one, basically all you have to do is vacuum the rail. This one, and the other side, of course. And then this one and this one. And then there's two more. There's 6 rails. You look underneath, there's one down here with bearings, of course. And then one on the other side identical to that. All you're going to do with these is wipe them down first with a clean rag. You can use all kinds of different rags, but it should be clean. It might not be dust free because I've used this one before, but you wipe it down like that. Make sure you don't have a worse workpiece down here. In fact, some people recommend pudding, and it doesn't hurt. Hold on, I'll get some. If you look, I've added newsprint so that when I spray this, it doesn't go down on my work surface. Come on the other side to wipe it off first, of course. And spray it. You can vacuum it first too, that's helpful. Can you notice, see how it's coating it? Wipe off any excess. And then you can exercise your unit. You can do that several different ways. You can write a program to do it, or you can manually do it. If you want to manually do it, you should know how to do that because you've had your unit for a while. You simply start it up, say okay, and we're going to go, since we lubricated the X rail, we're going to go X right in this case. And X left. Go to the full extension. When you get close to the end, you can slow it down. Did I get some of that lubricant? See, you heard it crash against the edge, which is fine. It's not recommended to do it constantly, but it doesn't hurt anything because it doesn't. It's designed so that it doesn't hurt anything. Get close, so I can slow it down and keep going right. Okay, that's all the way almost to the rail. See that click click? That tells you here. You see it not turning. Tells you you've gone far enough. Then I'll speed it back up and move it to the left. Do that 2 or 3 times and that works it into the bearings. Don't forget to clean this shaft as well, because that also needs to be wiped down and lubricated. You do the same thing, repeat the procedure with this bearing, that screw, this bearing, and under here, we'll look at the other side. We've got this side bearing, and the screw is way back there. You see it? There it is. You can see the light reflect off of it right there. You got to do that one too. So, which means you spray it and wipe it down. Vacuum it, spray it, wipe it down. That's it for this machine. I've been asked how often you do it. I do this about once every week or 2 weeks, depending on how often I use the machine. If I don't use it much, then I don't do it as often, obviously. In fact, I don't use it in winter, so I don't do it at all. I do it before I put it away for the winter, and then just shroud it and leave it set till the next spring. But I also keep, because I'm in a winter climate, I keep antifreeze in here. I do not use or recommend RV antifreeze because it will solidify on you. That's it for number 1, HD4 lubrication requirements. Now, next we'll look at HD5. HD5, because it has a new rail bearing, it's quite a bit different. HD5, if you do not clean, wipe, and lubricate these bearings every 30 hours, they will seize up. And if they seize up, it's not an easy job to get to them. See, there's 2 bearings here. And see, I'm going to rotate this. You can't see it. Down through this slot right here. Back in there, I'll get a light. There's 2 more, one here and one here. 2 more bearings that ride on this rail. You have to lubricate those as well. So these 2 and these 2 up here and these 2 here must be lubricated every 30 hours or they will lock up. These under here you can lubricate as you do the HD4, which means that once every week, 2 weeks, depending on how much dust they have on them, you spray it down, wipe it, spray it down, lubricate, and then wipe it again. Move it back and forth to get the bearings in here some lubrication. These we're going to go into detail how to grease these in a few minutes. This is the grease that I use. This is a mobile grease, and what you're looking for is a rating of an NLGI of 1. This is a lithium based grease and brown grease, and it works pretty good. But again, it's not available in the small tubes that I've been able to find. So I use the large tube. What's the recommended cleaning procedure for an HD5? This is an HD5, and you can see I've been working it. I work it without dust control. The fine dust, I recommend that you run a filter to suck that up, and then occasionally the other dust will settle down on your project, and then you can vacuum that off. But I have a fine, I left this one so that I could do some testing on the HD5, and I found after 30 hours, even in extremely dusty situations, that it's a good time to clean your rail and re-grease it. Because you go much beyond that, what comes up is the bearings, which are, there's one here and one over there, the bearings themselves seize up. So you got to clean it up, grease it, and then you can work another 30 or 40 hours. So depending on the dust conditions. If it's extremely dusty, I would not go more than 30 hours. If there's not much dust, then you're okay to go 40 or 50 hours based on how well your unit does. Now, there's wipers on these bearings that will wipe, and when these bearings start getting a little bit dry, the first thing you'll notice is that it doesn't, when it wipes, it doesn't really clean all the dust off. Okay, so you see it, the dust here, and it starts building up a little bit. So when you start to see that, it's time to stop, clean everything up, and re-grease it, and then you can start again. So to clean it up, basically it's the same procedure that I recommended with the HD4. Put some newsprint down. Just take your newsprint and lay it underneath, check any workpiece underneath. Spray it with a silicone spray. This is a lubricant. Spray it, dust it. You can vacuum it first to get the heavy stuff off. I've already done that. And then you wipe it down with, I recommend terry cloth rag. Like this one, a terry cloth that will clean it up. You can use microfiber if you want, because it's got the loop pattern, but I like the old-fashioned towels. If you got old towels, you can go to Goodwill and get them. That's where I get mine. Use those. You can get them inexpensively there, and they make excellent rags. So that's part of the rail. I've already cleaned up the other side of the rail. As you can see over there, I've cleaned it up. So the next step obviously would be to move the unit all the way to the left, because it's going across clean rail now. And I'll wipe that down the same way that I did the other. I'll shield my workpiece. A little more newsprint down. Shield my workpiece. In this case, I'm going to dry wipe it first, because I didn't get the vacuum in the middle, so I'll dry wipe that stuff away. And I'll spray it, top and bottom, and then wipe it. And that's step one. You got your rail clean. All that junk off. The same thing with this unit. Wipe it. Get it as clean as you can. Then you grease it. That's the next step. What I recommend is a nozzle like this. It allows you to get in here, put it on top of the grease fitting, and then put your grease gun on there and pump it. You have to use LG1 rated grease. That's in your owner's manual. It should tell you that you have to have #1 grease. Almost everywhere you look, you'll find #2 grease. #1 is available from Granger. It's made by Mobile. That's what I use. It's 5 something a tube. So that's what I'm going to do next, is inject grease in this one. Then the same way, come down and find this one, and you find it lock, and then inject 2 to 3 pumps. And you're going to come up here, you're going to put this on top of here, inject 2 to 3 pumps. Same thing here. This hasn't been wiped down yet, so I'm not going to grease that until after I wipe it down. But it's the same procedure. Just wipe it down, vacuum it, wipe it down, clean it up, and then grease it up, and then you're good for another 30 or 40 hours. If you don't do that, these bearings will seize up. It'll ruin your project, and it'll ruin the bearing if you're not careful. So then you have to disassemble the whole machine to get to these. This all has to come apart. These have to slide off, go on a special holder, and be rebuilt. So, or new ones put on. Same thing with the ones on the back. So this will all have to come off. That whole unit would come off, the bearings in the back be exposed, and then these all rails, the side has to come off so that these will slide off the end of the rail. So it's not, grease it properly and it'll last a long time. Don't maintain it and you're going to have some issues. But it is a more rigid, structurally rigid unit. That's what the HD5 gives you. You can't wiggle the router anymore, or the spindle. So it's a stronger unit, but with that you have more maintenance responsibility. Take care of the unit and it'll last a while. Any questions? Let me know. This is the size of the greaser that you'll find on the HD5. It's a very tiny. Your grease coupler does not go over the top. It just kind of mates to the surface of it. And I recommend squeezing very slowly, because it's a smaller hole than your normal grease fittings, and it takes a little time to squeeze through that little hole. Otherwise you get a bunch of grease squirting around it. Press it on there and hold it tight, and then squeeze it. It's a 5mm size, so you can check I use this wrench to check and make sure they're tight, because if you over torque it, you'll strip it right out because it's a very small greaser. It's too small to put a normal, what we think of as normal greasers in. It requires this very small one. So make sure they're tight, 5 millimeters, just kind of snug it a little bit.